Japan Pot 103. Strikes in the public sector are officially illegal. And when some unions tested this legality in 1976, the strike was stopped before the announced termination date by public opinion and not by the law. Employees from private companies who worked hard and accepted what they considered reasonable salary raises would not tolerate the government providing more favorable conditions by striking workers in the public sector. Newspapers that initially had taken somewhat favorable attitude towards the strikes changed quickly with the vehemence of public reaction. They began reporting, for example, that children of striking workers were ridiculed by classmates for what their parents were doing to the general public. It would not be politically feasible for the workers in the public sector to use their capacity to stop the operation of the public facilities, to raise salaries higher than their counterparts in the private sector. It is not simply that the majority of the Japanese workers are basically satisfied because their interests are being served, but that the workers in the private sector who do not strike because of the devoting to their company exert public pressure strong enough to contain strikers in the public sector. Perhaps more important than the success of the companies in mobilizing workers for production and avoiding disabling strikes in the impact the system has on the self-esteem of the individual. The American who is fired or laid off as soon as the company's financial statement is in the red and who must go on unemployment insurance finds it hard to maintain great self-respect for his capacity to work. The worker who knows he will then be out of work understandably might demand more salary now, but in so doing he begins to measure his contribution and even his own worth solely in the monetary terms. Even a high American official who is dropped or demoted because his division is unprofitable or who is hastily removed when dissatisfaction rises about the company's performance cannot help but have doubts over himself as well as his company. Unless caught in a horrendous, well-publicized scandal, no Japanese officials would be comparably disgraced by his company, and even if an official were caught in such an extreme case, other company officials find a way to cushion the blow if he has indeed performed well for the company. Officials who must be demoted to take responsibility for public problem are often given substitute rewards and honors within the company so that they may not feel especially distraught. Success and failure come from the group effort and are never laid on the shoulders of a single person. At worst, if an official performed badly, his term would be brought to a close slightly more rapidly, or he might not be promoted on the next post quite as rapidly. Formal officials do not need to be discredited by new officials and generally remain on good terms with the successor. Japanese workers who feel they do more than is required and feel they are appreciated by fellow workers enjoy a greater sense of individual worth than do those who merely get by with the minimal effort a more common American pattern.